Yes, I wasn't suggesting that you try and get people together again, Yanis, to organise the evaluation. That's why I said earlier, as long as you could, just for my part, as you could interview people and ask them to talk for a few minutes, or you could ask them to send written reports, or you could do what you've suggested, that you give them a site that they can click and then they can say something on a video. But what I would think is important, and not only 1 month later, because it does take a little bit of time before people manage to organise action, is what you were saying. You could do 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, or ask people, do you want to record it in 1 month, or in 3 months, or in 6 months, or in all cases. Give people the decision for themselves. But what you're looking for is to be asking people, what do you think you learned? Because it's important. If they remember 3 months later what they learned, it means that it stayed in their mind. So you can say, what do you think you learned? What was the most important thing you learned? You'll be getting some feedback from people, and you're going to help them to remember that this was important for them. So it performs a double function. Firstly, you're helping them to remember, and therefore you're inspiring them further to think what they can do with that learning. But they might indeed, like Roxana said, have already done some actions, and then you're asking them for more detail. How did you perform these actions? Did you have to form some coalitions? How did you sort it out? Then you'll be able to tell future people, if you want to implement, these are some of the ways in which participants of STD processes did it. They formed a coalition, they formed a community of practice, they went back to the broker to create a committee, or whatever. You'll get ideas from people as to how they managed, if at all, to implement. And you'll also could be asking them, what further support do you think you might need to implement? It might be a simple thing that the World Future Centre can do for them to help implement. Like they may say, I lost contact with X, and therefore we were unable to implement, and you could say, well, what about contacting Y or something? So you could give people a little bit of further support in their implementation plan. So it wouldn't be just a process of evaluating in the sense of a summative evaluation. It would be an evaluation so-called with a difference, that it would be helping people to re-reflect on what they've learned, what they've done, what they could do more, and this will be helpful for other potential people who want to get involved with learning about SDD, and also for other people who've been involved in SDD to see what other people have done with the work and what inspired them. That's also important, because if you are later going to write up, even just for research purposes, if you want to write up how SDD processes were meaningful for people, you need to ask them, what inspired you? And how were you inspired? And how did you do your follow-ups? How was that workable for you? So that's actually all I meant. But I don't mean evaluation. I think someone said it here, it might have been Andy, who said, we're not talking about evaluation in the normal sense of the term. It was you, hey, Andy. That's not what I'm talking about, that you go out and start trying to sum up, whether the implementation plan was implemented. It's more to be helpful to participants and to other potential participants and stakeholders.